Hello and welcome to Bite Size Maths with Mr. Thomas. Today we're looking at algebra, and it's going to be the first of several videos on algebra because algebra is a very big topic and there's quite a few things that we need to cover within algebra. So today we're going to be looking at substitution, and that's the substitution method. Now, before we start on substitution, we want to check that we know how to deal with algebraic expressions. So algebraic expressions involving brackets. So if I have the expression 3 bracket 2 minus 5, then that is the same as saying 3 times 2 minus 5, because there is an invisible multiplication sign between the 3 and the bracket. So that's the most important thing that we need to remember, is that when we have a number and a bracket next to the number, then there is an invisible multiplication sign there. So this is the same as saying 3 times 2 minus 5, which of course gives us 6. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 5, which gives us 1. Okay, so that's the first example. So if we look at another example, 3x squared minus 5. So we are saying that when x equals 3, we want to evaluate this expression when x equals 3. So this is the same as saying 3, open bracket, 3 squared minus 5, because the 3 goes into where the x lives. So this is the same as saying 3 times 3 squared, because there is an invisible multiplication sign between the number and the bracket, minus 5. Which gives us 3 squared, which is 9. So we have 9. 3 times 9 minus 5, which is equal to, well, 3 times 9 is 27. So we have 27 minus 5, which gives us 22. So let's look at another example, and we're working with a more complicated example. So working with complications. So we have a equals b squared plus c squared, and we want to evaluate when b equals 2 and c equals 3. So the first thing we need to do is we need to identify where our 2 is going to be living, where our 3 is going to be living, and we can evaluate that expression. So the first thing to notice is that our b equals 2 will be going into this side here where the b lives, and the c equals 3 is going to be going into this space where the c lives. So we have, if we bring this down, a equals 2 squared, because we have b equals 2, plus 3 squared. So this gives us a equals, well, 2 squared is the same as 2 times 2. So 2 squared equals 2 times 2. So we have 4 plus 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which gives us 9. So A is equal to 4 plus 9, which of course is 13. What about another example where we are dealing with more than one variable? So find A when n equals 7. And we have A equals 180 times n minus 2 over n plus 5. So if I extend my page there, we have A equals 180 times, because there is an invisible multiplication sign between the 180 and the bracket, so that's there, over n plus 5. So we need to substitute n equals 7 into where the n lives. So n lives in 2 places, so we need to substitute n equals 7 into this place here and that place there. So we now have, if I bring this down, A equals 180 times 7 minus 2 over 7 plus 5. So what does that give us? If I bring this down, A equals 180 times, well, 7 minus 2 is 5. Remember, there's an invisible times before the bracket, over 7 plus 5, which is 12, which is equal to 180 times 5. If we work that out in our calculator, that's going to give us 900 divided by 12, which is equal to 75. So we have that A equals 75. What about one final example? Find the value of Z when Y equals 4. And the expression for Z, if I extend my page, we have Z is equal to Y squared plus 4 over 4 plus Y. So remember, we need to substitute 4 into wherever the Y lives. So we have Z equals, bringing that Z down, 4 squared plus 4 over 4 plus 4, because 4 goes into where Y lives. So that is equal to, well, 4 squared is 16, plus 4, which is 20, divided by 8. And that gives us 2.5. If we work that out in our calculator, that gives us 2.5. So that gives you a general overview of how to evaluate algebraic expressions. So this here is an algebraic expression. And actually, because of the fact that we have an equal sign, so we have Z equals, the entire thing is an algebraic equation. Algebraic equation. So in these cases, we're actually evaluating the algebraic equation when Y equals 4. So I hope you found this useful and enjoyable, and we'll be moving on to some more concepts in algebra in the next lesson. So we'll be looking at expansion, so expanding brackets.